Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to yet another video. It's been a long time since I last uploaded, but we're back. We're bringing more content, we're back to the educational stuff, but this time in a different format. So these new video formats we're gonna be doing is more vlog style. As you can see, I sit here in front of you, tell you what we're doing for the day, then we hop over to the computer, we get that stuff coded. So hopefully this will help you guys kind of grow a little bit closer to me, my content. Some of the new content that we're gonna be producing, we'll still be doing the educational stuff, but we're going to be including freelance work that I do so that you guys get an idea of what that kind of looks like. For any of you new upcoming developers that might still be in college, I'll be doing these videos primarily to help you guys to kind of see what it is like being a developer, full-time and contracted. So without further ado, today's video we're going to be working on a Discord bot. This Discord bot is something that me and a couple of friends have been working on over the past year. We've built it for a couple of Discord communities and we're finally ready. We're ready to bring it to you guys, open source it. We're gonna do a bunch of code cleanup. So what you're gonna see today is we're gonna go into that repository. You'll see all the code that was already there, but we're gonna be tweaking it, making it better, and making it more readable and understandable for just an open source application. So without further ado, we're gonna get started. We're gonna head over to the monitor and we're gonna get some database or environment stuff set up today. So let's go over there. So we're over at the computer now, and basically what I kind of want to accomplish today is I want to try to get these environment getters set up. Basically what this is going to do is it should simplify the process of accessing the environment variables that we set through our .env. We're going to be writing the getter system. This is pretty common in a lot of like MVT frameworks. So we're going to be doing something similar to that where we just have a basic getter function that will take the environment config, it'll load it, and then if we pass it a string, or a key rather, it'll load it from the environment variable. If that key doesn't exist, and it'll return a default value. Otherwise, it'll return the environment variable. And then basically what we want that to look like is we'll have a system folder that has the environment in it, and then that'll export an object that reads from the environment that uses those getter functions. Basically, we have a couple small, easy things to do. We have our source here, we have core, so we're going to be using our core, then we're going to be making this inside of utils. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I will see you guys once I get something worked out here. So we have a pretty vanilla implementation of kind of what I'm talking about. So the env get function, basically what it's going to do is it's going to take in a key, and this key will query the process env file, or variables rather, or object, which should take in whatever environment variables are passed in that are get loaded by .env. We cast this to value type. The only thing that I can think of that might be a little weird with this is going to be integers, and when integers get passed, if that number has some sort of, or some malformed, isn't an actual number, then we could have some issues with nans, but I think that's more or less potentially an oversight. Then we realistically could add some catches for that, or at least a console log to let them know, like, hey, yeah, this is broken. You should probably fix this. I'm not entirely positive though if that's going to be necessary. So basically, we just take a generic. We say, hey, the default value is going to be this value type, and then this function returns value type. So we get our value from the env, then we just cast it as the value type, which generic integer casting should transform that integer. The only time that this could potentially get better is by utilizing parseInt, where if you were to pass basically the difference between casting, so if you do casting, if you give it like 1 2 3 test, this will return nan, whereas if you do parseInt with 1 2 3 test, this will give you 1 2 3. Basically, it'll take any numbers from that string, and it'll return those instead. So that's really the difference between that. If you're just passing pure numbers in, then it's fine. If you're taking a string and you're passing it in and it's just 1 2 3, then it'll return 1 2 3. If you're passing in as a string, it'll return 1 2 3. So that's really like the only difference, really. If people are doing some really weird stuff with numbers in general, where they need to have numbers, then I think that's more or less something that could be fixed on the user side. So I don't know if I'm really going to worry too much about that. And then obviously we built the environment file here. So the environment file currently is just taking the environment getter, it's retrieving via key, and we're using explicit type definitions here rather than implicit, because implied types are a little bit slower when it comes to the TSC. So when you're running it develop, you might notice a little bit of some sluggishness depending on the amount of inferred typing you're having. But honestly, like on bigger projects, you're probably gonna notice it more than you will on just a very small project. But I don't think it's bad to get in the habit of just doing explicit types. So explicitly type all these, even though they could be inferred by the TSC and type checker. So basically we just grab the environment variable, and then we give it the default key, so that way, we grab it. If this is not defined in the config anywhere, then it'll give us this. We kind of separate these by spaces based on what section of the config they're a part of, which this activity message pertains to the bot, so it can go up there. Same with that environment, that can go there as well. So that's probably fine. I think that looks pretty good. We could pass this entire object in, but there's no reason to when we have the data that we need already, so it should be good. Then we went through, we obviously replaced all instances of the process.env with the exception of that one function. As you saw before, we do process.env, boom, it's just the one spot. So I think that's a pretty decent vanilla implementation for this. I don't need to worry too much about it breaking. The only thing we need to do now is just do a good old npm run dev. It might fail because I don't know if I have a Discord OAuth token set, but we'll find out. Okay, well, the bot seems to be running. We have no plugins discovered, which is good. Bot successfully registered 0 commands. We don't have any plugins in our plugin folder, so that's what we want. Looks like the web server service did initialize and is working good, and the bot did log in and should be listening. I can check Discord quick, but we should see it over here. Yep, we do see the Starship app in the Discord, so we are good on that front. Sweet. Cool. So as I said before, this is a very vanilla implementation of a environment accessor that just kind of helps keep things a little bit more cleaner, to where we're not just doing process.env everywhere and having to worry about overhead of loading configs. And now everyone can access the environment config just as easily as we can, instead of having to do process.env stuff. This might be something that could get broken out later, but our current design paradigm is we're centering environments around the core Discord bot, and then we will be having configs for each plugin, basically. So I think that this accurately does that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this committed. All right, cool. So we'll wait for that to get reviewed now that that's up on GitHub. And that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Next video, we're going to go over setting up Prettier, ESLint, and various other just code correction and code formatting stuff, just that way we can all be on the same baseline. We'll also get the GitHub Actions set up for that. Just continue scaffolding this Discord bot, basically. All right, so with that being said, this environment stuff's looking pretty good. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty happy with where it's at. It's pretty vanilla, right where we want it. We don't need anything too complex at the current moment because what we're using it for isn't very complex. So what we have now is a pretty good baseline. We'll obviously be growing this as we go, trying to adapt it to our needs specifically. But as I stated earlier, it's pretty good for where it's at. I'm not too disappointed in it. So it works, easy to implement, and that's exactly what matters. So with that being said, if you guys like this style of video, please let me know in the comments down below. And remember, as always, like and subscribe for more content, and we will see you guys in the next video.